Hey everyone, it's Olivia. Before we get into today's drama, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories like this. Let's get started. It all began unexpectedly on a lazy Sunday afternoon. My phone buzzed with a new message that pulled me out of my weekend relaxation mode. It was from Sarah, a name I hadn't seen light up my screen in years since our college days drifted us apart. Hey Olivia, just saw your engagement announcement. Congrats. When's the big day? Her message read. I hesitated for a moment, surprised by her sudden re-entry into my life. Deciding to keep things friendly, I replied with a few details about the wedding plans, and of course, a mention of Ethan. Sarah responded almost immediately, her texts popping up one after another. That sounds amazing. Ethan must be quite the catch. What does he do again? As the conversation continued, her questions became increasingly specific, especially about Ethan. How did you two meet? Must be a story there. And what about the wedding venue? You always had such great taste. I answered her, trying to keep my responses vague. But Sarah's curiosity didn't wane. It felt odd, her sudden interest. But I chalked it up to her being friendly and maybe a bit nosy. A few days later, Sarah suggested we meet up for coffee. To catch up properly. I agreed, curious myself about her sudden reappearance. We met at a quaint little cafe downtown, one that used to be our favorite haunt in our college days. As I walked in, I found Sarah already seated at a table, a wide smile plastered on her face. Olivia, it's been too long, she exclaimed, standing up to pull me into a hug that felt tighter than necessary. We sat, and the small talk flowed easily at first. She asked about my family, my job, and then, inevitably, the conversation turned back to Ethan and the wedding. So, tell me everything about Ethan. He looks like he comes from a good family, is he? Her probing felt sharper, and I started to feel uncomfortable under the guise of her enthusiastic questioning. He's wonderful, I replied, keeping my tone light. We're very happy. That's all that matters, right? Sarah smiled, but there was something in her eyes that didn't quite match the warmth of her words. And the wedding plans, needing any help? I'd love to be involved. Her offer caught me off guard, her intensity throwing me off balance. Oh, that's sweet of you, Sarah, but we have everything under control. She nodded, but her eyes were calculating, watching my every reaction. As we parted ways that day, her parting words left a chill in my spine. Let me know if you change your mind about needing help. I'm always here, Olivia. Walking back to my car, the warmth of the cafe behind me, a cold realization settled over me. Sarah was back in my life, but her intentions seemed anything but simple or friendly. I had the unsettling feeling that this was just the beginning. A week after our seemingly innocent coffee catch-up, Sarah invited me out again, this time to a more upscale brunch spot in town. Despite my reservations, I decided to attend, curious and a little wary of her persistent interest in my life and upcoming wedding. As I arrived, I found Sarah already seated at a table adorned with a delicate floral arrangement, her demeanor as polished as the setting. She greeted me with a radiant smile, the kind that didn't quite reach her eyes. Olivia, darling, so glad you could make it. I ordered us some mimosas to celebrate your upcoming big day. We exchanged pleasantries, and as we sipped our drinks, Sarah's questions soon took a more direct turn. Olivia, I've been thinking a lot about your wedding. I feel like I missed so much of your life these past few years, and I want to make up for lost time. That's really kind of you, Sarah, I replied, cautiously steering the conversation. But you know, Jenna has been deeply involved as my maid of honor. She's been a huge support. Sarah's smile faltered for a moment before she regained her composure. Oh, of course, Jenna is wonderful. But don't you think it would be special if your old college friend played a significant role too, maybe even as the maid of honor? I was taken aback by her audacity. Replacing Jenna was out of the question, and Sarah's suggestion felt more like a demand. I appreciate your eagerness to help, Sarah, but Jenna is my maid of honor. That's not going to change. The atmosphere shifted palpably. Sarah leaned forward, her tone becoming more insistent. Olivia, think about it. Who knows you better than I do? We shared so many secrets back in the day. I could help make your wedding unforgettable. Feeling the pressure, I tried to remain diplomatic. I'm really touched by your offer, Sarah. But Jenna has been there for me through thick and thin. I can't replace her. not even for an old friend. Sarah's expression hardened, her earlier warmth evaporating as she realized her manipulation wasn't working. Well, I just thought I'd offer. It seems like you could use someone who truly knows you at your side. The rest of the brunch passed in a tense silence, the earlier cheer replaced by a cold formality. As we parted ways, Sarah's parting words carried a veiled threat. I hope you reconsider, Olivia. It would be a shame if you didn't have all your old friends there to support you. Driving home, the weight of Sarah's words and the intensity of her gaze lingered with me. It was clear now that her intentions were far from benign. Sarah wasn't just looking to reconnect. She was looking to insert herself into my life by any means necessary. As I mulled over our conversation, I realized that her interest in the wedding, and particularly in Ethan, was more calculated than I had initially thought. This wasn't just about friendship. It was about control. After our unsettling coffee meetup, Sarah didn't just retreat. She escalated her efforts. She started appearing everywhere Ethan and I went, each encounter more uncomfortable than the last. Her presence became a shadow over our daily lives, a constant nagging threat. One evening, at a local charity gala which Ethan and I attended, Sarah made her boldest move yet. Dressed strikingly, she sashayed across the room towards us, her eyes locked on Ethan as she approached. Olivia, Ethan, what a lovely surprise to see you here, Sarah cooed, her voice dripping with feigned sweetness. Ethan, unaware of the tension, smiled politely. Sarah, good to see you. Enjoying the evening? Oh, immensely, she replied, her gaze lingering on Ethan a moment too long. Turning to me, her expression shifted subtly, the sweetness morphing into a veiled threat. Olivia, can we talk? In private? Reluctantly, I excused myself from Ethan's side and followed Sarah to a quieter corner of the venue. As soon as we were alone, her facade fell away. Listen, Olivia, Sarah began, her tone sharp and calculating. I've been nice about this so far. I asked politely to be part of your wedding, and you rejected me. Now I'm not asking. I felt a chill run down my spine as her words sank in. What are you saying, Sarah? She leaned in close, her voice low and menacing. I'm saying that it would be a shame if Ethan found out some interesting stories from our college days. Stories that might change his mind about who he's marrying. I stared at her, incredulous. You would really go that far? Blackmail me? Over what? A title of maid of honor? It's not just about the title, Olivia. It's about respect. And I deserve to be respected. To be in your place next to Ethan at the altar. Sarah hissed, her eyes cold and determined. You're delusional, I snapped back, anger rising in my chest. You think you can bully me into giving you what you want? Ethan loves me, not some twisted version of the past you might concoct. Sarah smirked, unfazed by my anger. We'll see about that. If I can't be the maid of honor, maybe I'll just take the groom instead. How about that, Olivia? My heart pounded with fury and fear. This was no longer a simple wedding drama. It was an all-out war she was declaring. You won't get away with this, Sarah. I will protect what's mine. She laughed, a sound devoid of humor. Protect it? I look forward to seeing you try. As she walked away, leaving me fuming and shaken, I knew that the stakes were higher than ever. Sarah was playing a dangerous game, but I was not about to let her destroy everything Ethan and I had built. It was time to end her manipulation once and for all. I needed a plan, and I needed it fast. Enough was enough. I knew I had to stop Sarah before she could do any real damage. I invited her over under the pretense of making peace and offering her a role in the wedding, but this time, I was prepared. Ethan and I had set up a hidden camera in our living room to capture the entire conversation. So, about the wedding, I started, as we sat down on the couch. Sarah smiled, thinking she'd won. I knew you'd come around. So, maid of honor? Not exactly, I said, keeping my eyes on her. I wanted to discuss your behavior lately. Her smile faltered. What about it? How you've threatened me, tried to manipulate me. It's all been recorded, Sarah. Tonight as well. Her face went pale. You can't prove anything. I nodded towards the hidden camera. Actually, I can. And so will this recording if you don't stop harassing me and Ethan. This ends now, or I take this to the police. Sarah stood up, her composure cracking. You wouldn't dare. I will, unless you leave us alone for good. This is your only warning. Defeated, and knowing she was outplayed, Sarah left without another word. Ethan came out from the other room, relief and pride in his eyes. We had protected our future together, ensuring our path to the altar was clear of any more threats. Thanks for sticking with me till the end, guys. I turned back to the camera. It just goes to show, sometimes you have to take a stand to protect what's yours. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. With Sarah out of the picture, our wedding day went off without a hitch, a celebration of love, friendship, and triumph over those who tried to come between us. That wraps up our story, folks. Now, I want to hear from you. Was Olivia right to set a trap for Sarah? Or should she have handled the situation differently? Could there have been a more peaceful resolution? Or was Olivia justified in her actions given Sarah's aggressive tactics? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're really interested in your take on this. And if you enjoyed this story and want to catch more like it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more content that you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.